Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Joseph Kuzma, and this is my video blog. Today's topic is transhumanism. We're going to see what transhumanism is all about and why it's more relevant than ever. So stay tuned as we take another journey to the limits of the mind. The prefix trans in Latin means across, beyond, or through. So a transhuman, in the most basic sense, is someone who is actively attempting to move across, beyond, or through his or her human nature toward a reality or a state of being that would be considered post-human. To quote Damon Broderick, a transhuman is someone who takes every available option for self-enhancement with the aim of becoming someday a being of unprecedented physical, intellectual, and psychological capacity. The ultimate goal is to become post-human. A truly post-human being, according to Broderick, would be a self-programming, self-constituting, potentially immortal, unlimited individual. To be a transhuman simply means that you are interested in transitioning to that kind of individual. You are interested in someday becoming truly post-human, leaving humanism and perhaps humanity itself behind. But what is humanism? What is humanity? And why do transhumanists feel the need to radically improve upon it, and perhaps even someday leave it entirely behind? Well, when we talk about humanism or humanity, we are not simply talking about the human being, Homo sapien, in its phylogenetic or biological sense. We are also, perhaps most importantly, talking about what the human being has come to symbolize culturally and philosophically throughout the ages. Our culture has traditionally assigned a privilege to the human being. We are supposedly the smartest, the most ingenious animal. We are the rational animal. We create culture and art. We make use of science and technology. We are the apex species, the best of the best. Humanism believes all these things and places the human being above all else. Now, in the 1600s, a certain type of humanism began to take shape, known as Enlightenment humanism. It understood human beings to be privileged among all species, not only because human beings are the only rational beings, but also because humans supposedly have free will or agency. This means that humans have the ability to take charge of their lives, to create better futures, rather than simply praying for better futures to be brought about by supernatural forces, like people in the Dark Ages did. So Enlightenment humanism, which began to take shape in the 1600s, is simply the idea that human beings armed with reason, rationality, scientific method, and human creativity can bring about genuine progress and create a future in which the human condition or human experience here on Earth is gradually and systematically improved. Humanism means having faith in the human being to solve his or her problems and improve life on Earth for everyone. But whereas Enlightenment humanism believes that education, cultural refinement were the two key components in harnessing human potential, transhumanism, the transhumanist movement of today, believes that human beings have certain hardwired biological and genetic limitations that must first be overcome and surpassed if human nature is ever to be truly improved. The Enlightenment humanists see human nature in its current form as supreme and utterly sufficient to get the job done, to create the kind of future we want. Transhumanists, on the other hand, see the current human nature as just one point along an evolutionary pathway, and with the aid of new technologies and tons of experimentation, some of it on our own bodies, we can someday move beyond the very notion of the human being altogether, in order to become, as a species, something even better, something better than human. Now, there are many different varieties of transhumanists. transhumanists come from all different philosophical perspectives. They may disagree, for instance, about whether transhumanism and religion and spirituality can ever go together. Some transhumanists are atheists. Others believe that there can still be room within transhuman philosophy for belief in a supreme being or God. Likewise, transhumanists come from many different political persuasions. Some believe that advanced technology should be heavily regulated, placed solely in the hands of a centralized authority, such as the government. Other transhumanists take a more libertarian approach and argue that each individual should be allowed to carry out whatever technological enhancements or experiments on their own bodies that they choose, without government interference. These debates, as you can imagine, become especially intense around issues like genetic modification, biohacking, and cloning. At its core, however, what seems to unify all transhumanists is a basic emphasis on affirming the notion of extropy. Now, many of you are probably already familiar with the notion of entropy. That's the idea that there's a tendency in systems to move toward increasingly disordered states. Extropy is basically the opposite of that. It is a way of talking about the extent of a living or organizational system's intelligence, functional order, vitality, and capacity or drive for improvement. Transhumanists are extropians. This means that they are constantly on the lookout for ways of increasing their biological system's vitality, intelligence, and functional order. They are constantly trying to improve themselves, all the way down to the subatomic level. Now, we already live in a society where plastic surgery, surgical implants like hearing aids or pacemakers, prosthetic limbs, skin grafts are all around us. They are used by individuals to improve quality of life, attractiveness, longevity. None of these things seem out of place or unusual. Transhumanists simply want to take all of this a step further. They want to optimize their bodies and their brains the same way that you would optimize any sophisticated machine to improve speed, performance, and lifespan. The ultimate aim for many transhumanists is to attain unlimited intelligence by merging human minds with technology. This would happen either by indefinitely prolonging biological life through genetic engineering or uploading the mind into a secure cloud-based network where consciousness can continue to operate in disembodied form. Of course, all of this might sound a little crazy to some of you, and it's good to be skeptical about some of the more extreme claims that transhumanists make. But it's my hope, after watching this video blog, that you will be able to think about some of the pros and cons of the transhumanist position, and then to do some thinking about whether you believe that the transhuman future, or futures, are appealing or not. Well, that's it for this edition of the video blog. I hope you all enjoyed learning about transhumanism. As always, feel free to email me your questions, and until next time, keep on philosophizing.